So it's day 4 of the 21-day lockdown. The Transport Department has relaxed public transport operating hours to accommodate some SASSA grant beneficiaries. Starting this morning until Friday, the 3rd of April, buses and taxis will be permitted to operate from 5 in the morning until 8 at night. Our reporter Aviwe Mtila is at Alexandra Taxi Rank in Johannesburg. He joins me now live. Aviwe, very good morning. It's still early in the morning there, but we can see what I was talking to you a little bit earlier on. There's a bit of hustle and bustle there.
Well, you certainly understand how taxi ranks are normally, but it's business unusual here, Tony, at the Alexandra Taxi Rank. In fact, the taxi rank itself has been closed off, so now the taxis around Alexandra are basically parked and getting their passengers in just outside the Pan Africa Mall here. You'd understand it's that busy time where essentially millions of South Africans are expected to have their SASSA grants. But you can see, as per taxi regulations, that at least half of the taxi has to be full. But that seems like it's not happening here. As you can see, the taxi that my colleague is showing you seems to be filling up at this very moment. But I just want to catch up with some of the taxi operators here to find out how they're doing. Sorry, Mdom Khul. Sorry, Baba. Thank you. Just quickly, thank you for joining us, Baba. We just want to find out how are the taxis operating during this time, especially now that it's SASSA grant money.
Sorry?
How are the taxis operating during this time, Baba? The 21-day lockdown.
The taxis isebenza kahle, isuka sebenza right, i-checking iba right, imali isithola i-right. Njengamanje asiboni lutho.
Yeah, but we see that taxis are seem to be filling. Ingathi taxi ngiyazigcwalisa, Baba. Wenza kanjani ngalokho? Because kuthiwa i-taxi mosha kumele igcwale.
I-taxi ngemthetho ayifalanga igcwale, angiyazi noma kwenze njani lapho kulawa fana njengoba mina sengiyime la ngithi bakhuluma kakhulu. Imoto ifale iphume nabantu bayi7, 8 ngo-drive.
Okay, okugcina baba niyawasanitize ama-taxi njengoba sitshilo uhulumeni uthi yonke itrip kumele isanitizwe namarenki ayeclean kwenze kanjani baba?
Ama-taxi ama-passenger nama-taxi kada ngiyasanitize namanje ikhona le nto la manje ngangibona nje kusokhulunywa kakhulu lapho kusasenerasi. As from Friday ngangiphethe le nto ngisanitize namanje nginayo lapho emoto.
Okay, thank you very much, Mdom Khul. Tony saying that they do try and sanitize, but I was told earlier on by one of the taxi operators that in fact government did come here and did sanitize all the taxis on Friday, but that was the last time, in fact, the taxis have been sanitized. You'd understand that now, seeing that they have different shifts, from 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock and picking up again from 4 o'clock till 8 p.m., they've now had to regulate how they operate it. Some taxis come in on different shifts. It'll be a particular shift for this certain day, and then the following day, a new shift would come in. But now it seems like government has relaxed that, trying to cater for the millions of South Africans that pay are supposed to be paying SASSA grants today.
Aviwe, we know that Alexandra Township has been a hotspot since day 1. We've been reporting from there here on ENCA. And on the first day, there were very few authorities there in terms of the police, even the traffic police. Are you seeing any activity there at all from the authorities?
Well, I must say we haven't seen any form of authorities, whether it's police, soldiers or security enforcement, just on our drive from Hyde Park, passing through Sandton to Alexandra. We haven't seen any form of authorities, but I will tell you that the malls around here, they already have queues, long queues already of people waiting for those shops to be open. There's a little shop here called Freedom Mall, and the queue outside it is already long. Imagine we got here just after 5 o'clock. We're not sure what time it opens, but already the queues are starting to line up in their long activity, Tony.
Aviwe Mtila, they're reporting for us. He's in Alexandra Township in Johannesburg. It's near Sandton. Of course, it's been an interesting last 4 days for Alex with the police going in and out. And we've seen so many people not really observing the rules of the lockdown. We'll get back to Aviwe a little bit later on. Jane?
Yeah, and let's find out what's happening now, the status in Cape Town. Let's go over to ENCA's Monique Mortlock, who's at the Bellville Taxi Rank in Cape Town. What's the situation there, Monique?
Hello?
taxi rank here in Cape Town, because I just wanted to take a look at whether there's any difference from what I saw on Friday when we were here on the first day of lockdown. And it's a completely different scene. When we were here on Friday, there was absolutely no taxis whatsoever. We only saw a few dozen people basically waiting for those taxis to arrive. But as you know, on Friday, taxis were limited. They were only transporting, or they were supposed to be only transporting essential services. But right now it's a completely different scene. I'm just going to step out of shot for a moment, just so you can see all of the taxis lined up, waiting for not only essential services workers, but also pensioners who are trying to get an early start on their day. As you mentioned earlier, from today onwards, we will be seeing the issuing of those grants. And we've seen various workers, from cleaners, from security guards, nurses, health practitioners, moving around on the Cape Town station deck. Obviously relieved that today they won't, or this morning, however, they won't have to struggle like they did on Friday. We heard from angry and frustrated commuters on Friday who were waiting for several hours for taxis, for any sort of bus service. But today it's a different story.
All right, so they're expecting more people. I mean, first you have to notice how incredibly clean it is there, but how they're going to be absorbing more people and the sort of security that's going to be around them outside and inside those taxis.
And this is something that I spoke to Santaco about a bit earlier this week, a few days ago, in fact, when I asked them whether they will continue with that sanitizing, disinfecting of the taxis, making sure that there are hand sanitizers in the taxis, that drivers are wearing their masks, their gloves. From what we've seen so far, I haven't yet seen any taxi drivers wearing those masks, wearing those gloves. We will be chatting to a few of them a bit later on during our later crossings. But for now, we haven't yet seen anyone doing the spritzing of passengers right before they enter, like we saw last week when Transport NEC Bongikosi Madigizela took us on a bit of a tour around the taxis, what the taxi drivers have been doing. We asked Santaco about this. They said that taxi drivers will be limiting the number of passengers they allow into their taxis. We heard from the from the Transport Department that they are only allowed to carry 8 passengers at a time. But we will be seeing a bit later, getting a closer look of what's going on in those taxis, if they are adhering to that rule.
Yes, let's leave it there, Monique. I mean, what I saw on the roads, many taxis stuffed full of people. One taxi so full that there were 3 sitting in the front. So you just wonder how that's going to be monitored today.